Welcome back to No Rules, Random Thoughts of a Swiftie. I am your host, Brianna Peters. I'm so sad. Today is the last 3 tracks of the life of a showgirl that we are breaking down together. I'm excited to talk about other things related to Taylor Swift again. You know, this is a podcast that's all about our random Swiftie thoughts, and this has been very structured since the life of a showgirl, so I am kind of excited for me to just throw out my random Taylor Swift thoughts every other week or so for you guys and to see where we're at with everything. I love this album so much. It's interesting where it ranks for me in, Taylor Swift albums. Because while I really love this for what it is, like the project, and I love where her head and her heart are at when she released this, I don't know that maybe I've connected with all of the songs like I usually do with a Taylor Swift album, which is saying something because I don't know, the Tortured Poets Department is so intense. It is so just word vomit, and she released every thought she ever had, and a lot of those songs are very, very sad. I can't relate, and I don't want to brag or anything, but like I just have an amazing relationship with my husband, and we've been together for 13 years. Like there's a lot of this. It's like, oh, you one night stand, you broke my heart or whatever it is, and I'm like, I can't relate to that, but for some reason I think I feel that deeply. Like I can recall and think about old relationships I've had or something like that, and I know those feelings. And then when we kind of get into this album, The Life of a Showgirl, you know, she is a showgirl 100%. Most of us are not. So when she's talking about her life, I feel like there's going to be a lot of things we don't really relate to. But I think, you know, being the songstress and the wordstress and the lyricist that she is, she can always bring us in. She can always make us feel something. And then great producing partners, Max Martin and Shellback, obviously, just make the music feel so good that this album has a lot of moments where I really love the sound, and she's part of that. She's, you know, the way that she's singing things. Do I think I relate to it the most out of all her albums, or I keep coming back to like, oh, I have to listen to this whole album start to finish like a folklore? Maybe not right now. You know, it is still newer, so maybe I will develop more feelings for it over time. But I just want to let you know, as we come to a conclusion on this, kind of where my head has been. You know, we've had this album for months and months and months now. So I think it's interesting kind of where I've landed and where this has landed for me in terms of Taylor Swift albums. And, you know, every time Taylor Swift does another album, there's just so much more discourse. Like every go around, I think, no, there can't be more to say or more to pick apart. And it's a lot. It's a lot of attention. And, you know, I just kind of feel, I kind of miss some days where the Swiftiedom was a little bit smaller, and maybe the attention was not so intense and scrutinized, because everything is talked to death and everything is picked apart. And it's just, it doesn't always necessarily feel fun anymore. You know, we used to do the Easter egg videos. My girl Lauren Littman, love her. She's actually the one who made me a Swiftie, and I have to get her on this podcast because I loved Taylor Swift during 1989. Who didn't? But as soon as the whole Reputation thing was going down, I was like, you know, I have told this story before, but I was like kind of dipping my toes into like, well, what's going on? Like, I don't understand. And it was the Look What You Made Me Do decoding Easter egg video that she did that sent me down a rabbit hole. It was the start. It was the video that made me become a full Swiftie. Because then I lost my mind. I was doing all the decoding. I was watching everybody's videos. And so yeah, we can thank our girl, Lauren Littman. Go find her on YouTube, all the places, Instagram. She's amazing. And she's honestly such a nice person. So I love it when those two things happen, when they're cool online and they're also really nice. IRL. I am not going to spill this time. Remember the water? Remember the water? We're not spilling coffee, not today. So the last 3 tracks of The Life of a Showgirl. Oh boy, do I have thoughts. You might notice I am phone free because, I don't know, I love that the phone with all my notes in it does kind of help keep me on track because I'm a bit of a rambler. But on the other side of things, I felt like I was looking down too much at my phone and not here with you. And so I think as we wrap up, I'm going to go off the cuff, off the dome, and, be patient with me if my thoughts kind of go everywhere. But editing is a magical tool that I have figured out in this process, so I'll try my best. But the last 3 albums to The Life of a Showgirl, they all range wildly for me. I'm talking full, complete spectrums of how I feel about these songs. So before we get into it, I will tell you that my favorite song on the entire album is within these 3 tracks. And I want to know if we're mind melding. I want to know if you know me well enough yet to know which one is my favorite. So please, right now, don't cheat. Just go into the comments and tell me what you think my favorite track is that I'm about to say on this album. Because, again, I just want to know that we're there. We've vibed long enough. I've been doing this show many, 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 many months. I think we know each other. So I'm just going to give you a second to do that. Okay, so we're back. I wonder what you chose. I'm so excited to see. Okay, so, oh boy, let's get into the last 3 tracks. Now, remember, these are just my opinions and my thoughts. Like, just if one of these is your favorite and they're not mine, it's totally fine. You could tell me why you love it so much. I'm always down to hear other people's perspectives and opinions, especially on from Taylor Swift fans specifically, because I think it's so interesting how one person's art can be viewed so differently across the spectrum of Taylor Swift fans that she has. Something that for me is like, this is my favorite. It's just like something that's maybe sometimes even a skip for some Swifties. So I just find it interesting that we have all these wildly different opinions. So please let me know what you think about these tracks. But we got to start with the next one on the list, which is Canceled. Canceled for me is very interesting because if you know me, you know Reputation is a top Taylor Swift album for me. And this gives such big Reputation vibes from the production, from the way she's singing, the very dark energy that we're getting here. It just is so reminiscent of Reputation. And for that reason, I love certain aspects of this song in terms of, production and how she's singing and some of the choices made during the production, which I'll get into. In terms of the lyrics, I don't connect with this song almost at all. There might be 1 or 2 lyrics that as a woman, of course, I've definitely felt. But I like my friends cloaked in Gucci and in Scandal. It's I don't know that life. And this is where we come back to the life of a showgirl. To me, in some ways, is not a relatable topic for most of us because most of us are not going to fall into this category where our friends are getting canceled and there's so much scandal surrounding them. And, so, the relatability factor for me on this one is low. And I'm even going to say that I don't know that it's hard because I'm not a part of this life. So maybe my viewpoint on it would change if I was a part of it. But I don't know that I love the concept of I like my friends in this category of having been canceled. I just can't get away from this fact that if you look at it holistically, as a whole picture, cancel culture does have pros and cons. And, the cons of this, of mass amounts of people ganging up together to cancel someone or tear them down, will snowball. And there will be the outliers of the people who are sending death threats and bullying and leading smear campaigns. And so on one side of this thing, it's so dark and it's so unnecessary and it's so disheartening to know that exists within this thing that on the other side holds people and corporations accountable for their actions, for their choices, who they align themselves with. And it brings a lot of power to be able to bring information to the masses and let the masses get together and decide that this is not okay. We are not behind this. Cancel culture to me just has that duality to it. And so maybe if I had or was a part of it in some way, I might feel different. But just to be yeah, I like my friends. We got scars from all the cancellations we've gone through. And I'm just like, do you want to be a part of the cancellations? Like, I know sometimes you can't choose those things, but you definitely can choose your friends. And so, not to get too heavy into it because this is not about Taylor Swift's music, but, I think obviously a lot of people have come to understand this song to probably have some feelings about Blake Lively in it, whether it's the entire thing, whatever it's some mentions. I think it probably does fit that this has something to do with her in some way. A whole thought on that, like, not Taylor Swift and Blake Lively, but Blake Lively and what she's going through is not important in this situation. So I don't even want to touch on it. But for the Blake and Taylor aspect of it, like their relationship, again, I'm not going to do too much time speculating because I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but I feel like if Taylor Swift was called to write about this in this time and in this perspective, then that's her prerogative. Like, take it or leave it. And for me, I'll probably leave it. Like, I don't love this song. It's not my favorite conceptually. And the ties and feelings to Reputation is not enough for me to be like, please put on Canceled. I need to listen. Actually, it is my least favorite song on this entire album, kind of by a landslide. Like, and what's interesting is there is, what is it? Robin from Torture Poets Department. I don't need to listen to it. I don't want to listen to it. It's not even like, oh, it's so sad. It makes me so, no, I just don't have any feelings towards that song that's like, I want to spend the next 2 to 3 minutes listening to it. It's like one of the only Taylor Swift songs that I just skip. I can't do it. I don't even really have that feeling with Canceled. Like, oh, I got to get off of this. I hate this song. It's not like I can't listen to it. When I listen to it, I'm like, oh, it feels like Reputation. But then when I start listening to the lyrics, then I'm like, I don't know. Not relatable to be decked out in Gucci for most of us again. And so for me, it's just kind of my least favorite on this album, but I think it is a part of her life. I understand why it's there. In terms of the music and the song itself, I will say, obviously, production-wise, I love it so much. They really tap in. It is always going to be interesting to me and really cool how a producer and musicians can invoke a feeling through music, kind of like how Elizabeth Taylor invokes luxury, that this song invokes deep, dark, underworld type of energy. I love it. I love when people who are really good at their job know what they're doing and make it happen. So I love that this is a vibe and it's a feeling and it kind of immediately puts you into that place. Taylor has some good riffs and runs here. I really do like when she comes in early in one of those lines in the chorus, I believe, like on the second or third go of the chorus. And yeah, I just think, okay, it's a song, not my fave, but I understand. And there's aspects to it that I like enough that I will listen to it. But not for me. Sorry, Canceled. I was going to make a joke. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Okay, so now we have moved on to Honey and the last one, The Life of a Showgirl with Sabrina Carpenter. And what's interesting to me about these last two songs is that they both contain something within them that I'm going to touch base on right now, just so we can kind of get it over with, and then I can get deeper into the songs, which is they both contain the word bitch in referring to other women. And I don't love that. I don't love it. I think I have to work at it in my own life. There's levels of, unfortunately, misogyny still within me that I'm always working on. And I'm very pro-women and I'm a feminist and I believe in our right to choose and, in our autonomy. And I always will fight for that for sure. That's where I lean. I don't love that Taylor went here. I don't love that she went here in 2 songs back to back referring to women as bitches, especially for someone who has been, she's been through it, and there's a lot of strong women in her life, and she is a strong woman herself, and she's suffered at the hands of the patriarchy many, many times. So I don't love that she went here. I don't love that she included it in 2 songs back to back. Like, that's a little rough for me. Again, these are the uncensored versions. So maybe the censored versions are better for this, but just as a principle, I don't love that she did this. And it's one of those things that I come back to, that we have to be able to hold our even most favorite people accountable for actions and behaviors. And this is part of me saying that I don't align to that way of thinking. And it's not something that I love. And it makes me feel unfortunate that she included it in this album, not once, but twice. So yeah, I just want to put that out there, that I don't love that Taylor Swift did that. And I am very hopeful that we can get off of that type of thinking and way of expressing ourselves in the future, because it really does nothing for women to bring other women down, to degrade other women, to speak ill of other women, to, try to make light of a word that's used by men in the patriarchy to keep us down and feeling and putting us in a certain category. And it makes me sad. I will be honest, it kind of makes me sad that she decided to include this about women in 2 songs back to back. So that is just an element of these next 2 songs I want to get out of the way. So Honey, let's just talk about Honey real quick. Did you guess that Honey was my favorite song? Because it is. I love it so much. Honey is my favorite song on The Life of a Showgirl. I am telling you, when that beat comes in, okay, I want to tell you guys something. Highly suggest doing this if you haven't already done so. I'm a big I'll put on a Taylor Swift album and listen from start to finish, right? I love that. But have you ever been driving? You're like, oh, I have a 30, 45-minute drive up ahead. Just put on This Is Taylor Swift on Spotify, because every time I do this, it's my new favorite thing, because I don't know what song is coming next, but I know it's a Taylor Swift song that I'm just absolutely going to love. And so every time I go, oh, I love this song. And I'm like, of course you love this song. You love her. Like, of course. But it's just so fun. You never know what you're going to get. She has so many songs in her discography, and they obviously range from many different feelings, and sounds. So it's such a cool, fun time. If you're going to be stuck in traffic, why not add a little flavor to it, So anyways, Honey is my favorite. And I'm telling you, when those when those beats, I lift outside of my body, I become someone else, and I just get so excited. I instantly start twerking in my car. I'm just like, this is my favorite thing I've ever heard. So Honey, to me, is a superior song on so many levels. I think it's one of those moments where everything comes together just perfectly. I don't think that she's ever really doing too much, you know what I mean? Which is interesting, because I do like a lot of riffs and runs, and from her specifically, or when she goes really high, or when Taylor Swift used the breath, when she uses the scope of her talent, those songs always just kind of live in the top for me. So it's interesting to me that a song that kind of just lives in this middle part, where she's not going too high, she's not too low, she's not riffing. It's just like a consistent beat and melody. But there is something about this song that is top Taylor Swift for me. There is no doubt my favorite song on this album is Honey. And by a landslide. I love so many of these songs, but that's just how much I love Honey. It lives on another plane of existence for me. And it really is sad that it was one of the least, I'm sure it still is, the least streamed song on this entire album. I don't get it. Is that just because it's towards the end and the next song has Sabrina Carpenter, so maybe people were just trying to get there? I don't know. You guys got to tell me, if Honey does not hit for you, why it doesn't, because I just don't get it. I don't understand it. Personally, my favorite song on this album, the way she says Honey, criminal Taylor Swift behavior. And I just, let's keep it respectful, but hot. Honestly, just so sexy, the way she's Honey. I can't. It's too much. And she says it 40,000 times in that song. So obviously I'm literally blushing. It's so good. I'm trying to think of what other, see, this is why I have notes, but honestly, every single part of this, and you know, the thing about this song that's very interesting for me is because it's like just so, it's such a good tempo. It just kind of lives there, but is the bridge and how like intimate and perspective, like her own perspective it is. It just kind of like all of a sudden strips away everything else and it's just her voice and she's getting really real and vulnerable for a second, and then we come right back in with all of the beats and everything, which I love. I love a stripped away moment, and then we come back in. But I think it shocked me the first time I heard it in such a great way, and it still does. Like to this day, I'm like, wow, she really just like strips everything away from this kind of like, I don't want to say surface level song, but like it's a lot of repeated things. So it kind of just sits in this one plane. And then all of a sudden she's letting you know that anytime this man called her, he was high. He couldn't remember. He just was horny. He didn't care about what was going on with her. He just wanted to get off. Like, and then anytime any of these people would say that, oh, you're so lovely, it was just like a way to pacify and to not actually talk nice to her, with her, and push her and off in the moment. And so I don't know. I think it's interesting how intimate that bridge is, and how much she lets you in that moment for a song that might feel to some to be like a surface level song. I don't know. To me though, Honey will hit every time. I think it's all the best parts of this album, which is, you know, the production is amazing. The beat is there. The groove and the hook and like the repeatability of it works. You know, with good pop music, you want to be able to just kind of instantly create a moment and let people know what it is so they get used to it and they can kind of, you know, honestly get on board. If anything is ever too complicated, sometimes it's like, what, where are we at? But with this song, it just hits me from the moment I hear it start. And that's what made me think about the This Is Taylor Swift playlist, because when it comes on during those moments, I'm like, shut up, like turn the music up so loud. And it's just a moment, and I don't know what it is, but it has something to it to me that is magic. And it makes me sad that it's like one of the least streamed songs. I don't really get it, but let me know what you think. Obviously, when she says, you know, the bitch was telling me to back off, not great. Don't love that. And you know, it's part of the chorus, so we get it multiple times. But you know, like again, Taylor's experience is her experience. She's allowed to say what she wants to say. And it is a part of it. But, you know, and the woman and the, you know, something like that wasn't degrading down to a woman. Would have loved a different version of that, but it is what it is. And finally, the last song, The Life of a Showgirl on The Life of a Showgirl, with Sabrina Carpenter. So Canceled, not my fave. Not my fave, but like my least favorite on the album, to Honey, which is my favorite on the album, and I'm obsessed with it. The Life of a Showgirl, she lives right in the middle for me. She's a great song. I love conceptually like how Taylor is able to do a storytelling song and wrap things up in a perfect bow. But she really like dives deep into the characters, and Sabrina's part, so good. I love Sabrina's voice. I love that she is witty and she is pretty and she does make money. And I love all of these things. I think Taylor just did such a great job writing this song for her. And then obviously for Sabrina, who are in much different places in their career, yet they have a lot of the same things going on, you know, being in the spotlight, being very popular, having a lot of hits, a lot of eyes on them, a lot of criticisms. And I think it's just iconic that Taylor was able to do this and do this with Sabrina. And I think Sabrina brings her flavor to her verse. I love hers, like how she wrote like her father whored around like all men did. Flip it on them. I love it. It's great. I love it so much. When her and Taylor come, because that's what showgirls get, they leave us for dead and they scream this together. Ear candy. It is so good. I love it so much. I think it's such an iconic way to end. I will be honest, the first couple times I listened to it, it made me tear up just hearing the end. And I know that's, not technically audio from Taylor and Sabrina from the Eras Tour, but I can hear the crowd, and I know that was from the last Eras Tour stop. And I just think it does such a great job of building this whole story and song up to this place that when the end happens, gosh, it's so triumphant. It's so close in a way to what Taylor was feeling with this tour, and she was able to replicate that in a song on this album that she made to signify her time on this tour. And so I think knocked it out of the park conceptually, lyrically, production-wise. Everything about this song is just so good. And the lyrics and the storytelling part of it really like invite you in from the second it happens and keeps you the entire way. It's a lot. It's a lot emotionally to think about like the end of that song and what it means. And, as with any Taylor Swift album, like when it ends, she always saves that last one for something that just makes you go like, man, this is monumental. And it makes me so proud and happy to like be a part of this community and to care about something so much like this, because it just makes you excited for that next thing. I think about the manuscript. The manuscript was so intense. And I don't think we talk about the manuscript enough. Like, sorry to divert off of the life of Showgirl for a second, but the manuscript is intense. And another one of Taylor Swift's songs that like so highly touches on her story. And she's such an amazing writer that whole thing is just, it's pretty emotionally intense. And so I just think she does this for these last songs where she leaves you on this high and this feeling of like, no, I don't want it to be over. Are you kidding? And especially with an album like this, that is so short. Maybe on our last album, after 31 songs, we were like, that's a right amount for me as a Swiftie. It took a couple hours to get through, but yeah, something like this, a 40-minute album that just goes real quick and it kind of leaves and ends on this triumphant high. Very intense. And I love that for her, and I love what it signifies. And I love that everybody that got to go to the Eras Tour, that's a huge Swiftie, got to experience that live. And I'm constantly envious and in awe of what that was probably like. Because I didn't get to go. I don't know. I may have mentioned it a time or two. But in general, the Life of a Showgirl album as a whole, thank you guys so much for coming on this journey as we broke down tracks, talked them out together. I've learned a lot, even just like throughout this time of doing this, about, what theories are going around and what people are connecting. And the Swiftiedom is massive, and there's still a lot to learn. And as we kind of know, as another Taylor Swift album comes out and a new era comes upon us, I think we kind of go back to the era before and see it with rose-colored glasses. And so I'm excited to have this album in our lives and dissect it even more and hear more things and listen to Honey 42,300 more times at least, because it's iconic. And you guys need to get on the Honey train. Like, if I can be the personal ambassador for the song Honey from Taylor Swift, let me know, because I'll do the Lord's work. I will be doing the good work. I will be out there preaching the word of Honey. Listen to it with headphones, maybe, if you haven't tried. You'll hear Taylor Swift even more in your ear. It's great. And yeah, so anyways, just thank you guys so much for being a part of this journey with me. Can't believe we made it through this entire album. I do have a reaction video to Opalite music video that will be coming out. And then I want to talk about the Disney documentary. And then after that, we can kind of go back to regularly scheduled programming until the next thing comes into our lives from Taylor Swift. So thank you guys so much for being a part of this. Please let me know what you think about the album as a whole, these songs very specifically, and then just let me know now that we've had some time with it, what song is your number one? One. You only get one. If you had to choose one from this album, what would it be? Let me know in the comments. Bye.